Midnight, not a sound from the pavement. Has the moon lost her memory? She is smiling alone in the lamplight. The withered leaves collect at my feet, and the wind begins to moan. Memory, alone in the moonlight, I can smile of the old days. I was beautiful then. I remember the time I knew what happiness was. Let the memory live again. Every street lamp seems to beat a fatalistic warning. Someone mutters and the street lamp sputters, and soon it will be morning. Daylight, I must wait for the sunrise. I must think of a new life, and I mustn't give in. When the dawn comes, tonight will be a memory too, and a new day will begin. Musical break? Burnt out ends of smoky days, the stale cold smell of morning. A street lamp dies, another night is over, another day is dawning. Big finish. Touch me, it's so easy to leave me all alone with my memories of my days in the sun. If you touch me, you'll understand what happiness is. Look, a new day has begun. Told you could do it. Congratulations, my friend.
Welcome to Screen Cats.
Killed it. You absolutely killed it.
Oh, I'm sure that's what that was.
Congratulations.
Kind of Funny's only entertainment podcast where we come together and talk about cats.
That's right. It's a one-off.
Right, yeah.
Never before it's done. Never to be done again.
Absolutely.
Unless there's a Cats 2.
Sure, and then
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I'm already loving it. I want to come back for more.
I'm very excited if that happens.
So look, we talked about
real
doing
quick,
this.
let me finish the intro.
Yeah,
you can watch us live Thursdays at around 11:40ish on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, or you can watch us as a VOD on YouTube or roosterteeth.com. If you just want to listen to the audio, which, God, I don't know why you would.
Oh, come on. Who want to listen to that? People are going to be making MP3s of that shit.
Oh, I really hope not. You can find us on all of your favorite podcast streaming apps. I'm your host today, Kevin Coelho, and with me is Gary, the Rogue One Whitta.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, man, it's going well.
So we did it. We're actually here. We talked about this.
Yeah,
it started
long.
as kind of a goof, right?
Yeah.
But we actually did it.
Did it start as kind of a goof?
I mean, I always wanted to do it, but I never thought anyone else would go along with it.
I've always been interested in cats.
Have you?
Yeah.
You mean in general, or
well, just the
production?
idea of what the production.
Oh, right.
The idea of what it is and like how crazy it is.
Right.
And like I've always wanted to see it, but like
it's always been this thing kind of on the edge of my consciousness in the sense that I've never seen it I've never seen like a Broadway or a West End production or anything. And the thing is, it's everywhere. Like, I mean, let's just like give it some props. Like, it is one of the most popular stage productions of all time.
Of all time, yeah.
Right? It's been since 1981, I think. Mm-hmm. It's been out there. It's been a big hit. It's the third or fourth most popular, most longest running show in both Broadway and the West End. But then not just beyond that, like all the way down to like, you know, provincial, like regional, like dinner theater. Like everyone at some point like has put on a production of Cats,
right?
Because it's like such a big thing.
Yeah, it's such a big name.
I had never seen it.
Yeah,
but I've obviously like the song.
Were you aware of the story before we went in?
Not the story. Okay. Well, a little bit. I can talk about that, but like, you know, the song that we just sang is like that's like the showstopper song that's the one that everybody knows, right? Everyone at least knows that song, and I'm aware of like Cats as this weird thing where the actors dress up as cats and dance around, but I never really knew beyond that what it was.
I feel like I've seen it parodied in so many things, and it's one of those things that like once upon a time I was like, what the hell is it? Looked it up on Wikipedia and I was like, that seems like something that didn't need to happen, you know?
Right.
And certainly didn't need to get as big as it has.
And and that's the thing. Like, it's kind of, we'll talk about it, but it is kind of baffling when you see what it is.
Right.
That it has been so massively successful.
Successful.
It's been continuously running as a stage production for 40 years.
That's absurd.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's made countless, I don't know, billions probably.
It's made a lot of money for
It's made a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's played all over the world. And if anything, it's almost kind of strange it's taken this long for there to be a big Hollywood production, just given the level of success.
There was another movie made, wasn't
there?
Yeah.
I think they've made movies that were basically just like where they just had a camera.
Okay.
You know when they just filmed the stage production?
That kind of looked like what it was.
This is the first time they've like adapted it for film.
And they went all out.
They went balls out.
Before we go in that, I have a tiny bit of housekeeping that I do want to get out here. I want to thank our Patreon producer, Al Tribesman. Thank you for making this possible. I hope that you feel like your money is well spent.
I mean, come on, who could complain about this
Absolutely.
Premium content?
Absolutely. Also, this show is brought to you by our sponsors, Upstart and Manscaped, but more about that later.
Oh, this is actually a sponsored stream?
Oh.
Like, you guys are actually making money off of this?
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it really is.
It's crazy. I don't know if the noses and the whiskers are reading on camera. Are they? I can see that we've.
I assure you, they're reading. Cool, Greg. Can I see my one for a second?
Oh yeah. Can I have my one?
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
There it
Just
is.
in case people are missing that.
Thank you very much.
So, where do you even want to start?
I feel like first off, did the trailer scare you at all? Were you like...
So this all started with the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for the last 40 years, Cats has been something that's been out there on the edge of our consciousness.
And it's always had a weird aesthetic to it.
It's always had a weird aesthetic. It's always been like, really? Like, you probably couldn't get me to go. If somebody had said to me anytime in the last 20, 30 years, do you want to go see Cats? I would have said, fuck no. Because like, it looks fucking bananas, right?
Yeah.
And then this all started with the trailer, right? And the trailer dropped a few months ago and the internet went nuts. Because they're like, what the fuck?
Rightfully so.
Right.
It's a weird design.
It's weird.
But like they certainly commit to it.
And basically everything that has always been weird about Cats is suddenly here's the thing. I feel like there's the world of Cats and theater and people that are into Cats and like our world of like genre and pop culture stuff has never really overlapped that much. No. But when this trailer dropped, it overlapped in a big way because now it's a movie and we all like to pay attention to movies.
Was the attention that was getting from our side of the like media, was that more mockery, you think?
Oh, it was all mockery.
Yeah, okay.
Because I mean it's weird. It looks
but
weird.
That is like I think that the cast is kind of what doesn't allow you to mock it that much where it's like,
you go like
the cast is like very good.
Right, it's
They've
all,
got
I
some
mean, like
real
legitimate,
crazy names
like,
in
big,
there, yeah.
huge, and we'll talk about that, but like huge names, all-star cast. They obviously spent a lot of money. Like, it was not a cheap, what did they say, $95 million, did they say?
That's the number that's
clearly an
out.
expensively made film. And like this, I guess this is one of my main points about it is, and we'll go back to the beginning and the trailer and everything, but like just generally, I want to say like, what's so bizarre about it is like, we've all seen weird shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've all seen weird movies, but I've never seen a movie this weird made at this level, like for that amount of money. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, that's crazy to see something this nutty get rendered at such a high level of production and budget. Like, it's mental.
So looking at like the budget, like according to Box Office Mojo, the budget they're saying right now is $95 million.
Which I honestly think is low.
That does seem very low for the quality.
Because every single shot is a fucking major CG shot. Every single shot.
Every single one. And there are some where they don't look great. Like there's issues with like artifacting that I noticed at the end.
Yeah.
And
some of the compositing is not brilliant.
Yeah, one of the people that
I kind of feel like they were rushing to get it out. Like,
well, the
for
studio
Christmas.
that like worked on it is now going bankrupt. So.
Right.
But they also worked on Sonic, like fixing Sonic.
Right.
So.
Right. But for the most,
Yeah.
we'll get into the kind of the
But
more.
just to give you an idea of budgets,
Yeah.
The Greatest Showman. So aside from non-Disney musicals, this is like the highest musical budget.
Right.
And just to give you an idea of what the other ones, La La Land was $30 million. The Greatest Showman, $84 million. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, is 75. Mamma Mia, 52, and Les Miserables, 61.
Right, and this one's obviously more expensive because it requires major visual effects to do it in the way that they decided to do it. I feel like it requires
so much more, and it's surprising that
I mean, literally every shot.
Yeah.
Is a visual effect shot.
Every single shot. And like they developed new techniques. I was watching a lot of like behind the scenes stuff on how it was done. They haven't gone into like full detail on how it was, but it's more of like, hey, so we're developing this new technique that we call like, God, they had some weird name like fur something technology.
I mean, I was curious when I was watching the movie. I was trying to figure out like how much of the suits, like the catness of them all, was like practical, how much was CG. But you said it's basically all CG. They're just wearing mocap suits.
Yeah,
right?
so they're wearing weird tan mocap suits with like just the green
all
dots.
the little dots that help the computers reference stuff later. Yeah,
but I'm not sure if those are the actual shots that they're using to integrate into the movie, or that was some weird rehearsal. But I think that those are the, like, as far as I can see, that's what they were using for the mocap.
So the trailer dropped and everyone went, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I was one of the, and I was going, what the fuck with everyone else, but I was also going like, you know what? I kind of want to know what this is all about because it's so nutty. And I've always been aware of Cats and I've always been aware that it's batshit fucking bonkers. But now that it's coming in a form that is more easily, like, I'm not going to spend $200 on fucking theater tickets, but I might go and see the movie version. And let's figure out what this is. And what I loved about the discourse after the trailer dropped is those Venn diagrams, like the world of Cats fans and people on our side of the fence, like the more kind of genre pop culture guys, collided. Because there are a lot of people on Twitter going, what the fuck is this with these cats? This is nuts. Like, a lot of people had never even heard of cats. And suddenly, they're like, for those people, this is really coming out of the litter box at them. It's like, what the fuck? But then suddenly all these other Cats people that are on Twitter, but you don't usually hear about. But now suddenly they're joining you. So people are saying, "Oh, Mike, what's the deal with these Cats?" And the Cats people that know it and have seen it on Broadway or West End or whatever are coming out and going, "Oh, let me tell you, you have no fucking idea what you're in for. Let me explain to you how fucking mental Cats is."
Well, that's the thing. I don't feel like there's much to explain. You know?
Well, here's what got me interested. It was not the trailer, but there was a Twitter thread from someone that was very familiar with Cats who had seen it a bunch of times, and they did a Twitter thread and they said, "Here's basically the plot of Cats." And it was like 20 tweets in a row. And I read it. I was like, "There's no fuck. Like, this is a joke. There's no.
This can't
fucking
be right.
That's no way. That's actually the plot of Cats." But I looked at it and it's fucking real. And I was like, "Oh, I've got to see it."
Yeah.
And that's when I started to get invested.
Did it like live up to the hype of the trailer? Like
more so because like. Here's my. Let's just get this out of the way at the top of the line. I do recommend, if you're on the fence, I highly recommend that you see it. People have said to me, is it good, is it bad? I don't know how to answer that question. I honestly think that it defies conventional criticism because it's so weird. There's no way to review it or criticize it in a conventional way. I will say this: you will not regret having seen it.
I don't know about that. Because here's the thing. I don't know that it lived up to the hype of the trailer where, like, none of the songs, like, even, like, Memory was good, but, like, I didn't feel like the majority of the songs, I didn't feel were exceptional.
Well, you and I talked after the movie, and that was the biggest problem for me, is that it's a musical, and I love musicals.
Mm-hmm. They're great.
I love musicals, and, like, some of the best nights out I've ever had are, like, at a theater, like a really great Broadway West End style musical, where, like, all the songs are great. Like, Avenue Q, Guys and Dolls, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, like some just great, amazing performances, great music, and you just get sucked into it in a way that, like, I don't think even movies can do when you see a great live performance. The problem with Cats is, as a musical, and this is obviously everyone has different tastes, but my taste is, like, Memory is the song that we opened the show with. You wouldn't know from the way we performed it, but that is truly one of the all-time great stage musical songs. Like, it's
a beautiful song.
It's a beautiful, beautiful song. And when Elaine Page or Jennifer Hudson, whatever, fucking, like, belts it out. And it's designed in such a way that last verse, you're meant to, like, go all out.
Right.
And, like, singers that have, like, great lines on them can really fucking kill it. And it's powerful.
I was watching, just really quick to interrupt, just to make a point on something you're saying. I was watching a video with, is Andrew Lloyd Webber?
Yes.
He's the man that created Cats for the actual play, or musical. And he was talking about, like, without the... I can't remember the name of the character.
I've got all the names right here.
Yeah, it was the girl that actually sings that song, or the cat that sings that song.
It's Griselda.
Is it Griselda?
No, Grisabella.
Grisabella, that's it. So he's like, without like the right Grisabella, the performance falls apart.
Yeah,
he's like, you have to nail that song.
She's not. And what's interesting, she's not the main character in the story.
No, not at all.
But she's the one that has the show, who gets the show-stopping number. And it's interesting. They sing a little version of it, like, halfway through, but then the big showstopper version of it comes at the very end, as it should.
And Jennifer Hudson did such a good job.
I mean, brilliant,
beautiful.
And again, it's hard because the camera's, when she actually does it, the camera's, like, right up on her, and it's hard because, like, she looks like a cat, and you're still going, even, like,
it's weird.
Even 2 hours in, you're still going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, the effect of, like, it doesn't wear off. You don't go, like. It's not like 20 minutes and you kind of go, all right, yeah, okay, fine. I'm into this. I'll watch it. They're cats. I get it. No, like,
it's awkward, like, the whole time.
The very first shot, you're like, what the fuck, and the very last shot, you're still like, what the fuck. So, like, the camera's on her and it's weird, but, like, if you just, like, close your eyes or whatever and just let the music take you, then obviously she's incredible.
Yeah.
And she belts it out probably as good as or better than anyone ever has. The problem with it is, though, to your point, is that's the only good song in the musical.
Right. The other songs are very just okay or forgettable.
The Cats, the CG, the lack of story, the madness of it. I would have forgiven all of that if the music had carried me all the way through it. The problem is most of the music just kind of left me cold.
Yeah.
And Memory is the only song where you kind of go, oh, this is a musical. Right. But that's the only one. Like, you're kind of waiting for it because you know it's coming. I
didn't. Like,
you didn't?
No, so like I said, I only know this through, like, a Wikipedia description of what's going on.
So that was the little that I knew about Cats. Yeah. It was this weird as shit thing about Cats, and that Memory is, like, the big show-stopping number at the end. And we've all, even if you haven't seen Cats, you've probably at least heard that song somewhere because it's the famous song.
It's very famous.
And again, like I said, all credit to it. It's a truly, truly great song. And when a good singer gets a hold of it, it's transcendent, as it is even in this weird ass movie. But there isn't a single other song where I'm like, I like this music enough that I'm willing to forget that this is mental.
I don't think there was a single song where I was like, oh, I want to listen to this later.
Right, like you don't want to go out and buy the soundtrack album.
Right. We recently, Paul and I went to watch Hamilton.
Yeah, and that has so many great songs.
Oh my god, when we walked out, it was like, I can't wait to hear the King.
Yeah.
Any of his numbers were fantastic. I wanted to hear his songs.
Yeah.
But, like, coming out of this, I was like, everyone was talking about, like, there being a banger. I was like, which one was it?
Right.
Because it was just like...
it wasn't clear to you that was the banger?
It wasn't super clear.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have thought that had been obvious, but anyway. So, listen. So, you and I talked about let's go see it. It started as a bit of a goof, but then you texted me and said, hey, I actually have tickets for a screener. Yeah. I'm fucking. I called your bluff, and we're all in. So we went, and Do you want to talk about the story? Do you want to kind of try and recap the story a little bit?
Before we do that, because I do have kind of a
oh, you've got an agenda?
Yeah,
I'll let you run the agenda.
I want to ask you, what do you think Cats did well as a movie?
I'll say this, and you know, I've posted a little bit about Cats on social media since because I was so like eager to talk about it. But I also didn't want to like blurt out all my opinions because I wanted to save it because I knew this was coming.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So I've been kind of vague about my opinions of it, and it's hard to have an opinion because it doesn't fit into any kind of conventional. It's and I don't mean this in a good way or a bad way. It's just a thing to say. I've never seen anything even remotely like it, and I don't think I ever will again because it's so fucking nuts. And it's so bizarre, like I said, you almost don't believe that it can exist to see something this nutty made for that much money. It's just and rendered at that level. It's like say what you like about how creepy or whatever the cats look. It's beautifully photographed. It's beautifully lit. Every shot is beautiful to look at. The cinematography and the camera work is really, really impressive. The sets are fantastic.
They're insane.
Right.
And again, when you look at like the behind the scenes stuff, it's like they have giant sets that are the giant like.
Right. They obviously built those
streets,
giant sets.
Yeah. And it's just. For me, like what it did is it killed the visuals on like those cats look weird,
right?
But at the same time, that was someone's vision that they nailed.
So and this is where this is the point I wanted to make is look, you can argue about whether or not this is a good or a bad movie. I don't even think it's a movie. I don't think you can even call this a film. I think just because it's projected onto a cinema screen doesn't make it a film. What it to me very clearly is it's the Broadway, it's the musical.
It's a musical,
it's a stage musical that was rendered using cinematic techniques and then projected onto a movie screen. I don't think it's a film because it's so literally almost shot for shot. What you can tell by like how small it's like even the film sets look like a stage set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I liked most about it, where it's like it feels like the best rendition of like going to watch it as a play, made into a movie, and like. It's because, like, you know, they have Les Miserables came out like a while ago now, but like that's a normal movie format where you're
you're out in locations and walking down the street and doing things like that.
But this is not that. Very much like you felt like you were watching a play.
No, it's probably the most literal interpretation of a stage play or a stage performance or a stage musical I've ever seen.
And I really like it.
And I like to go back to your point. You can argue about whether or not it's a good movie or a bad movie, or it's creepy or horny or all of those things. I would say this, and the movie's obviously getting a lot of shit, and everyone's having the internet loves this, right? They love to pile on when something like a freak thing like this happens. And great, have your fun, internet. That's great, and we've all been having fun with it. But I will say this: I kind of admire the fact that good or bad, right or wrong, they had a vision and they fucking leaned into it and executed it to the best of their ability. And you can argue about whether or not that was the right vision, and you can argue about whether or not this ever should have been executed. But the fact is, they fucking did it. They said, we're doing this, and they went all in, and they committed to it.
It's very
even
impressive.
If it's a spectacular failure, I still admire that. I admire spectacular failures because they tried really hard. I remember, so when I worked on I'll tell you a story. When I worked on After Earth, I worked with M. Night Shyamalan. And I was talking to him about, there's a scene in Signs.
So cool.
There's a scene in Signs where Joaquin Phoenix's character, I don't know how much you remember this.
Oh, I remember quite a bit.
But Joaquin Phoenix's character has 2 baseball records. He has one for the highest number of home runs ever hit at the local ballpark. But he also has the highest number of strikeouts, like swinging.
Yep.
And I was talking to Knight about it, and what I realized as I was talking, maybe it's obvious already to some people, but it was something I discovered in talking to him, that character and that story is an analogy for his career. Because he basically said, look, every movie I make, I either hit a home run or I fucking strike out spectacularly, but I always swing for the fences. And I admire that.
Right.
I admire that.
The thing they kept repeating was swing away.
Yeah, swing away. He says, I always swing away. So you always try, even if it's mad, even if it's crazy, even if everyone's telling you it's mad, the only way to achieve true greatness is to fucking swing away. And they swung away on this movie. And you could argue that if they struck out swinging, maybe they did, but they fucking swung away, and I admire that.
But I mean, that I feel like this is exactly what I thought the play was. And granted,
Right.
now it's like, God, I wish I had seen the play,
right?
Or the actual stage musical,
right?
So I could tell people like they nailed it, because I think that like the problems that this movie has are in that like aren't in any of the production. It's the just overall story of it.
Yeah,
if
you're gonna adapt Cats, like I said, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like they adapt it. Again, the weird thing is, like, Leah's seen the original musical.
Yeah.
I never had, but like I feel like you don't even need to. It's clear to me that it's like a faithful adaptation, because it's so obviously like you're watching. It is almost like at times it almost does feel like they are just like it's a stage production. They just pointed a camera at.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
100%.
And they do occasionally do things, you know, they're very, Tom Hooper obviously is like, look, this is I can do things that I can't do it, I couldn't do on a stage show. I can move the camera around, I can do weird transitions, I can be more ambitious. And there are times when they use cinematic techniques to do things that wouldn't be possible on a stage,
right,
on a theater stage, which is great. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, for much of it, it really is just like you're in a theater watching a stage show. And again, I kind of admire the purity of that. That they just said, let's just fucking do it. Do what it is. We don't need to reinvent it. Let's just let it be what it is, which is batshit insane.
Batshit insane.
But it is what it is.
So now let's move on to what we didn't like.
Okay.
So you want to start with that?
Yeah.
What
again, like I don't even know where to start. It's impossible. I wonder if they actually might have had more success with it if they had remained even more faithful to the stage show and done it all practical and just had them wear costumes, because the problem is the CG is obviously putting a lot of people off, and you never get to a place where you just are okay with it.
I know that right now we're talking about like, oh, how weird the CG is, but I remember growing up and seeing pictures of the cats, and being like, dude, those costumes are really weird. Right. You know, I feel like
it's always been weird,
intentionally to be off-putting and weirdly sexualized. Again, another interview I was watching where Andrew Lloyd Webber was talking about. He was talking to T.S. Eliot's wife. Okay. So T.S. Eliot passed away. Right. Talking to his widow there.
And just so we clear, T.S. Eliot wrote the original poems that Andrew Lloyd Webber adapted into the stage show.
Right. Right. And he was trying to get permission to do this, and it wasn't until he was like, okay, this is the image I have for the cats, and he named some, I can't remember the band that it was, but like it looks like the Cats people wearing clothes, like, so it's right, like a similar aesthetic for their like style, right? And like in the widow was like, he would have loved that. You have my full blessings, right? And it's just one of those. I feel like them being off-putting is important. Like they could have done Cats, they could have made it look like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I think that like part of it is. I think there's different approaches you could have taken. You could have done it like a Pixar type movie, right? Where it's kind of anthropomorphized cats, but clearly like cartoon cats. Yeah, that might have been a way to go. You could have just stayed very traditional to the stage and just had them really good versions, but basically just they're in prosthetics and costumes and makeup, maybe a bit of CG here and there. But they went full into the CG vision. And for me, that's not a negative. To me, that's like you liked that. It's not that I like the design because they are off-putting, but like I like the vision of it and the execution. I feel like what they were thinking, they nailed. And I think that it has to be a little weird looking to like stay faithful to the like, because otherwise,
but I do think there are other ways that they could have done it that wouldn't have been so weird. Like people are having a really visceral reaction to the specific way that these characters look, where they are. I mean, it's like some fucking Island of Dr. Moreau type shit.
Here's the problem: if you change their design and make them less human looking, then the way they dance, it won't be as impressive. Because there's so many shots of the what's her name, Victoria, the cat,
the main cat,
Francesca Hayward,
who by the way was terrific.
Oh, she's fantastic. And it's interesting how many of her, like, people would talk to her and she would react by just kind of dancing away. Yeah. And it just, if you took away that aspect of, like, the human figure, it just wouldn't look.
No, you're right. Because I think one of the things because so Francesca Hayward she was an unknown, and a lot of big stars in the movie, but they put an unknown in it. She's obviously she's a ballerina. Yeah. And by the way, she did do all her own singing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In fact, they wrote a song for her just for the movie was not in any previous version of Cats.
Taylor Swift's song was written just for the movie.
Yeah, so there's a couple of, I think there's a couple of...
did Taylor Swift
Taylor Swift and Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote a new song called Beautiful Ghosts for Francesca Hayward to sing that was not in any previous version. Yeah. But we were like, is that really her singing? Because she's such a brilliant dancer. It's like, can she really be that good a singer as well? But apparently she was. But no, you're right. Like I'm not a ballet guy, but she is a ballerina. And the dancing of Cats, the choreography is very based around ballet. It's a very balletic style of dance. And it's beautiful and it's graceful. It's not my cup of tea. Yeah. One of my comments was that I kind of wish that they had updated it a little more, maybe threw in like a little more hip hop choreography. It made it more modern because it felt a little bit old fashioned. See, the dancing.
I understand that, but I feel like the ballet aspect of it lends so well for like Cats and like how.
Yeah, I was talking to Leah about this earlier today. It's like Cats are supposed to be graceful and
the way they walk and it all fits so smoothly with that.
Yeah, and what I
again, I want to. The more we talk about it, the more it's like, man, I kind of like it.
I'm telling you,
and
there's all this hate. There's all this hate there out there for it. Everybody. Honestly, you've got to just fucking think about it. There's a lot of really amazing stuff. One of the things that I appreciated about it, because I'm not a ballet guy, and have I ever sat through a ballet? I might have done. I can't remember. I'm not a ballet fan, and I don't really like ballet. I admire it. It's very incredible discipline, but I'm not like a ballet. I don't enjoy watching it. But one of the things you do appreciate. And you just made this point, is that when it's done well, it's not just in the dancing, but it's in all of the movement. Right. And you realize that movement it's a language that you can communicate with it. And they have these whole sequences where where characters communicate with each other through nothing but movement. There's no dialogue, but you understand what the communication is. Right, and it's a language that of like the way their bodies move with each other, and I really liked that a lot. And there is something. I mean, again, the faces are. I had a problem with that. The faces are always weird. You can never. You're constantly the faces are weird, freaking me out.
There were also some issues on people that weren't like the main person in the shot, so a secondary character,
right?
Where the face seemed like it was drifting
like a little bit composited on. Yeah, and I think maybe they did that with some of them.
Perfect.
The problem with it is, I would say the CG is almost in many places is almost too good, and that's when you get into the uncanny valley because you can't see the joins, and it really does look like they fucking forced a cat and a human to fuck, and this is what came out, and like this is weird. It's an abomination. Yeah. But when they move, it's actually quite fitting. Right. Like the way that and the tails are even kind of added into when you think about it, like the CG guys that are doing the tails,
the animators.
That's all fitted into that's all choreographed along with the rest of the excuse me with the rest of the body. So what didn't I guess my number one answer to your question of what didn't I? It's funny, even when we talk about what we don't like, we end up talking about things we did like. Yeah. The number one thing I didn't like is just the most of the musical numbers. Like the music fell flat for me most of the time. Had I liked more of the music, I genuinely would have liked the movie. Because the number one thing that a musical needs to do is have good music.
Good music.
And obviously it has music that a lot of people like, otherwise it wouldn't have been a hit for 40 years. But like, it just, most of the songs aren't for me. A couple of them was like, really? Like this it just doesn't even feel, most of the music felt kind of bad to me. Andrew Lloyd Webber has written many great musicals and many, many great songs, but only one of them is in this particular musical.
The song that Ian McKellen did.
Oh, I liked that.
I really liked that. Listening to it made no sense.
Right,
I had no idea what the hell they were talking about.
And this is one of the general points I want to make is like the acting in it is actually really good. The actors are all good. Francesca Hayward, even though she only has to do one thing through the whole movie, which is basically kind of just look amazed the whole time, she does it very well. And they have some legitimately fucking badass actors in this. So Ian McKellen, Judi Dench. When Ray Winstone showed up, I almost lost my shit. Fucking Ray Winstone is in this movie playing a cat. Ray Winstone is a famous English actor who always plays like tough guys. And he played Growl. So he was the cat on the barge. Yeah, Growl Tiger. I was like, holy shit, this guy's a fucking. And he usually plays like gangsters and like hard-bitten cops and stuff. Right, and so it makes sense that that's the role they would cast him in. But it was just mental. So Ian McKellen, who's not in the movie very much. The weird thing about it is the way, and I want to talk about this more, but the way the movie is structured, it's not structured you can't.
It's not a traditional movie structure.
As someone who works in the world of like story, and I study story, and I think about story. Like when I go watch a movie, I think about the story. You can't do that with this movie because it doesn't conform to any of that structure. There is a story, but it's paper thin, and all it really is one musical number after another. There are two kinds of musicals, right? There's the kind of musical where there's acting and there's scenes and there's the regular drama, and every now and again they burst into song and there's a musical number, like a Disney movie. Like there's like musical numbers are peppered throughout. Guys and Dolls is like that. A bunch of musicals are like that.
La La Land is also just
La La Land is like that. But then there are musicals like Les Miserables,
right, where it's just
and like Cats,
singing.
which is just everything is sung.
Yep.
And there's no downtime between songs. It's basically just like listening to the soundtrack album, one song after another. And there might be a tiny, I think like you're 20 minutes into the film before there's actually a spoken line of dialogue. Right. And it's like a couple of lines and then they're straight into the next number. Because it's just all, that to me is not, I don't like that style of musical.
I don't either. I don't dislike it. But I just feel like that's a bold move to make when none of the songs aside from the
right. Are that
second
good?
to last one are that good.
Right.
Where it's but like they did it and they were all the musical numbers were certainly interesting to look at.
Yeah, they're all well interestingly staged and interestingly choreographed, and each one has its own feel. Jason Derulo's bit, by the way, was stupendous. That's my favorite part of the movie.
His set, like when they walk into a milk bar, like, man, look at how many different chocolate milks they had. They had chocolate banana milk, strawberry milk. They had all of it. I leaned over to Paul and I was like, I want to find out where this place is.
Where is this milk bar?
Yeah, but yeah, his song was fun and
so I wanted more. I wanted more of that because it's Jason Derulo. They obviously catered that song and the choreography to him, and he brought like more of a modern kind of hip hop flavor to it. I wish it had done more of that because that's the only part where it
Did
felt
you like
it,
James Gordon's song? Corden.
I don't remember his song.
It kind of ends with him getting trampolined onto the thing.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I like that because there was a bit of comedy.
Yeah,
there was a bit of humor.
Comedy there.
I don't like James Corden personally, but I liked him in this. I thought he was funny. And I love Jason Derulo. I thought his bit was great. Like that was probably the most entertained I was during the movie was that number because he's like the sexy cool cat, right?
How did you feel about Idris Elba?
I want to talk about Ian McKellen first because I was going there.
All right,
we'll cover all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ian McKellen does a bit where and again, this is the nature of it. He literally just stands on a stage in a theater and performs a song. Like that's it. And he does it well, but he also acts the shit out of it.
He acts the shit out of it.
Right? He fucking, like, there's pathos and, like, he's basically telling the story
He's so
of, like...
expressive. And again, because of the design, all the expression in his face was so there.
Yeah. You don't miss it. And that's the thing, like, maybe under prosthetics that gets lost.
Right.
Maybe that's why they chose to do it this way, because the facial...
That's what I'm saying.
Acting wasn't in any way obscured.
And I also think that's one of the reasons Victoria, like you were saying, like really all she's doing is being surprised between shots,
right?
And it's like because we can see her face so clearly.
No, you might well be right about that. But I do want to give props to Ian McKellen for that, like for that 5 minutes that he's there
owning the scene,
it's a song about how but he's had a tragic life, right? And he fucking acts the shit out of it. Like it's a great acting performance that it's also a song. And that was actually, I would say, Jason Derulo and Ian McKellen, that was like the two times I was genuinely enjoying the movie. And this is fucking great. I love this. But those moments are kind of few and far between. But I just wanted to give, all the actors in it are great. Like, again, there's no bad, but there's another thing about it. Again, they all committed. No one is winking at the camera. No one is doing this tongue in cheek. Everyone is like fucking fully in. Right. And they're all, I would say there's not a bad acting performance in the film. Nothing's poorly acted because it's all like, you know, fucking AAA+ actors. Everyone's great in it as an acting performance, and Ian McKellen in particular was terrific. Idris Elba. So Idris Elba plays the villain, right? McCavity.
It's a cool name.
All the names in this.
Yeah, put McCavity.
Let's just do it real quick. Let's just run. I'm going to run you some of the names of the characters in Cats: Bombalurina, Victoria, McCavity, Old Deuteronomy,
such a good name.
Gus the Theatre Cat, Jenny Ann Dots, Bustopher Jones, Cassandra, Growl Tiger, Mr. Misopheles, Grisabella, Rum Tum Tugger, Rumpelteazer, Socrates, Monkus Trap, Plato, Demeter, Chorus, Griddlebone, Scrimbleshanks, Mungo Jerry, Syllabub. Like, how can you not like? I mean, you've got to love these. You've got to love these character names.
I mean, they're very interesting names.
Do you want to talk about the story?
I will.
Do you want to get to that?
Second. Okay. I will in a second.
So Idris Elba, I thought, again, was... Like, Idris Elba was a terrific actor, right? And again, he fully committed to this part. And he hams it up because he's the cheesy...
Right.
He's the pantomime... He's a vaudeville villain, right? He's the villain of the piece. Very clearly. From the very first moment you see him.
Yeah.
The thing about musicals and about theater is that there's very little subtlety or subtext. Everything is like... As soon as the villain pops up, you're like, oh, there's the villain. Yeah. It's pantomime. There's the villain right away. He's got a big scar on his face. And as soon as he shows up, the music goes, ooh. You just know. There's no subtlety. And so he gets to really chew up the scenery and be and like
I think in that aspect, having them commit to like, oh, it's a play, overact these scenes.
Right.
Is so cool. Yeah. I did have a small problem with that when it was... Again, these characters in the background that are like over-expressive. Like towards the end, we have the scene with old Deuteronomy. Sitting down, talking, and there's a couple cats behind her. Yeah, and they're kind of like
they're all acting all the time as well.
Exactly, just nonstop. Yeah, and it's like on a movie, it just doesn't make as much sense.
Well, so some of that, and this goes back to what we were saying about how faithful it was in terms of let's just do a stage production and put it on screen. Is that stage actors and actors that perform in musicals and things like that on the stage are trained and taught to overdo everything. Right. They have to project really loudly. They every facial expression has to be overdone because it all has to be seen by the people in the back. And there's no close-ups. Yeah. It's not like a film where you can be subtle and like the camera's going to pick up every little piece of acting that you do. Like you're playing to a house of people, some are close, some are far away. You have to act in such a big, like everyone needs to be able to see what you're doing. There's no room for subtlety. Right. And even when there is room for subtlety, when now suddenly they can do close-ups and they can put a camera on you, they're still acting like they're in the stage performance. Like everything is like over the top. Yeah. Right. Everything's dialed up to 11. And Idris Elba is doing that. Like he's doing, he's like, I'm the bad guy. It kind of you know what he reminded me of? Do you remember? Do you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Yeah. Do you remember when they did the Nightman come with the stage production? Right, yes, of course. And Mac played the Nightman, and he got dressed up like a cat, and he's like, and people, that was McCavity.
Yeah, it's very very good. Right, it's very accurate. Yeah, but I think it worked for what this show was. Like I actually enjoyed McCavity. There are a lot of questions that his character brought up.
Don't even start on the. If you want to get into world building, I feel like we need to do a whole other show.
Let's talk a little bit about the story right after we do these ads. All right. Our first ad is from Upstart. As most of you have found out the hard way, getting into debt is easy. Getting out is hard, especially if your credit score isn't great. We've talked about it before. When Greg Miller got his dream job at IGN, he had to drop everything and move across the country. While changing your life that quickly is hard and really expensive. When Miller needed money to make his dreams come true, he took out a loan. Unfortunately, his credit score was still very new and not great, so his loan had a very high interest rate. It took him years to pay it all off. If only he had used Upstart. Upstart.com is the revolutionary lending platform that knows you're more than just your credit score and offers smarter interest rates that helps you pay off high interest credit card debt. Upstart goes beyond the traditional credit score. When assessing your credit worthiness, they actually reward you based on your education and job history in the form of a smarter interest rate. Upstart believes you're more than just your credit score. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate in just a few minutes. The best part, once your loan is approved and accepted, most people get their funds the very next business day. If you plan it right, that can be the next day. Over 300,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards or meet their financial goals. Free yourself from the burden of high-interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. See why Upstart is ranked #1 in its category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/morning to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes and won't affect your credit. That's upstart.com/morning. Our next ad is Manscaped. Support for Kinda Funny Morning Show comes from Manscaped, who is best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Jingle balls to the walls. Fellas, listen up. Untrimmed pubes are a thing of the past. It's time to gear up to get yourself a gift of shaving this holiday. I'm talking about Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. Look, Tim and Greg both got these, and they can't stop talking about their smooth balls. Finally, hassle-free grooming without the risk of nicking your nads. I've used the wrong tool for the job. I'm shaving my beard. Might as well do the downstairs too. Oh, no. My God, my balls are bleeding. Never again. Their Lawnmower 2.0 has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology, so this trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. It's also waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. The Lawnmower 2.0 comes inside the Perfect Package 2.0, which makes the perfect gift this holiday. It's literally everything you need to keep trimmed, cut-free, and smelling nice down there. The Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0 also comes with the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You're already putting deodorant on your armpits. Why are you not putting deodorant on your smelliest parts of your body? And yes, your balls stink. It's true. Speaking of sweaty and stinky balls, Tim loves the Crop Reviver. This product, along with the Crop Preserver, keeps your balls from sweating and smelling and stinking. And these products smell good. 'Tis the season to Manscaped, so get yourself, your dad, your brother, and your friends the best gift of all, the Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. Get 20% off and free shipping with code MORNING at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. Now, let's talk about how crazy this goddamn plot is.
Okay, let's get into it. So like I said,
Because to me, this is the biggest problem this movie has.
No, to me, the biggest problem the movie has is that not enough of the songs are good. Toe tappers.
You're right. I guess, yeah. That's the thing. It's a weird thing to come into a movie theater and kind of try to forget the structure of movies.
Right.
And just kind of be like, okay, I guess this is going to be a different setup. Because it very much is, here is, an hour and 30, 40 minutes of introductions?
Yeah.
Like, you're meeting a new character, they're singing their song.
That's what's so weird about it structurally. Yeah. It's just one character introducing themselves after another.
With an odd through line that is cavity.
Yes.
Right? That is like, oh, he's coming in here and kidnapping these people to make his odds better so that he can win this belt or the
So I'm going to attempt to encapsulate the plot as best I can.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so there's this cat, Victoria, and she's abandoned into like the humans throw her away, and she in this alley, and there's all these stray cats that kind of adopt her and like take her in as one of their own. And it's this very special night because this is the night where one of these cats and this happens once a year? Once a year, one of these cats, known as Jellicle cats, get to be chosen by like the grandmother, godlike character of all the cats called Deuteronomy, played by Judi Dench, and she apparently has some kind of mystical powers.
So the way they explained it is that she's lived many lives.
Right. Well, cats have 9 lives.
Right, but like she seems to continue.
She's been around forever.
For a long time.
She's had
a lot of kids too.
She's like this godlike figure, and once a year, for whatever reason, she picks one of these cats to ascend
to the other side of the moon.
What's known as the Heaviside layer, which is essentially you get reborn into another life.
Got it. Okay.
And whether or not that means going to heaven or you get reincarnated.
With the research that I've done, this makes more sense.
Okay.
Because in the movie, I thought they were saying something about the other side of the moon. And I was like, that's weird.
But
the Heaviside layer is like...
They never explain what that is.
It's
is it heaven? Is it are you being reincarnated? But the way they explain it is...
At one point, they use a different name for it that's actually a scientific like layer of the atmosphere.
Okay.
So it's like a certain height.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of these cats, essentially, I think the way they explain it is you get to be born into another life, and in that life, you get to become who you've always wanted to be.
And again, because cats have 9 lives,
right?
They've
right. So and this is that night. So it's a very special night for all the cats. And several of these cats are going to compete to be chosen, right?
Right.
And so in that sense, that is enough of a structure for the plot to be what it is, which is basically a bunch of cats introducing themselves and saying, "This is why I should be chosen. This is who I am. This is why I should be the Jellicle choice."
Had I not known that going in,
right?
I don't know that I would have understand that through the.
I thought
movie.
They made it pretty plain.
Okay,
but I mean, I did know that going in because I'd read that mad Twitter thread. Yeah. But so that helped me. So I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have. I don't know. But I felt like they made it. I mean, the main man cat, Munkus Trap, says to Victoria, because then I mean the whole point of like Victoria, from one thing that I did understand from a storytelling perspective was Victoria essentially is a proxy for the audience. She's the cat that shows up, doesn't know what's going on,
and
so they have to explain things to her and by extension the audience. So they explain, she's like, what's going on? Well, this is the special night where Deuteronomy will choose one of the cats to go on and be born into another life. And there are various cats who are auditioning to be that cat this year. It's like X Factor for cats. Right?
Just like X Factor for cats.
and basically at that point, the whole rest of the movie, most of it anyway, is one by one, these cats each get their own musical number in which they represent themselves, introduce themselves, and say, this is why I should be the choice, right? So you've got Buster for Jones, the James Corden character. He has his number. Rebel Wilson is kind of like the lazy house cat. I kind of enjoyed, like, she was kind of funny, right? The Rebel Wilson kind of clumsy cat.
I don't know. I don't necessarily like her in that role. I feel like a lot of times that's what the role she takes.
Right.
And I like her more when she's being like a sassy, like, kind of making fun of other people.
Right.
So like I didn't love that whole, although she had like the weirdest thing of like, hey, here are the mice that I've trained to do
and
stuff.
I'm going to eat these human cockroaches as well.
And like, it was so creaky. The cockroaches I thought looked cool. The mice looked so wrong.
They all played by little children.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Really off-putting.
Very off-putting.
I mean, that was weird.
Yeah, if you think the cats are off-putting, just wait till you see the mice.
The Rebel Wilson number is probably the most disturbing in terms of like what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Buster for Jones, Rebel Wilson's character, whose name I'm remembering, Jenny Ann Dotz, Rum Tum Tugger, who again is the coolest cat in town. Gus, the theater cat, Ian McKellen, all take turns performing a musical number for Old Deuteronomy. Basically, it's their audition to be the choice. And what makes them worthy? I don't know, like they have the best song, or like I don't know what it is. But
I mean, I think by the end it was like, no, I think it was the best song, like the worthiest of like being reborn.
Right,
and
but are you the most worthy because you have the best voice or the best song?
No, I don't think the song. I mean, the song is for us to enjoy, but like
right. But they're basically making their representation to her and saying this is why I'm worthy. Okay, so I get that, and then there's two other things going on through the story. One is McCavity, who is Idris Elba. He's the evil cat, and he wants to be the choice.
Why were there posters of him everywhere?
Because he's wanted. He's a criminal cat.
Okay.
He's up to all kinds of shenanigans.
That makes a lot of sense now, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Cool, Greg, you'd like this cat.
Oh, yeah, you'd love him. He's like a gangster cat. Yeah. He's a fucking cool cat. And he basically...
He wears a fedora.
If like Stringer Bell was a cat, that's why they picked Idris Elba.
They nailed... I feel like they nailed it with that casting.
Oh, yeah. No one in it is miscast. But I would say that.
Why the hell did he have magic?
Again, you're asking too many questions. You don't want to get into the world building here because you've just got to go with it. Just go with it.
All right, I guess.
Look. So McCavity wants to be the choice, but he doesn't want to play fair. Rather than compete on his own merits, he is spiriting away the other cats and somehow magically teleporting them to a barge out on the River Thames where you are chained up and guarded by Ray Winstone.
Right.
Who growls at you and says you're here now.
Yeah.
Right? I'm getting this right.
No,
so far,
you're 100% right.
So after each person does their performance, McCavity kind of shows up in the shadows and goes, "Come over here," and then he like does a little thing and you like disappear into dust.
Yeah.
And appear on the barge.
Catnip?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't fucking
Don't look
know.
into it. Don't look into it.
So there's that.
Enjoy it.
So there's that through line, and then connected to that is the story of Grisabella, Jennifer Hudson's character.
Yes.
And she's the one who has the show stopping. She's the one who gets to sing Memory. And as best as I can understand it, she is kind of exiled, right? She's been outcast from the Jellicle cats.
She left them.
But the thing is,
go with McCavity.
She fell in with McCavity.
Yeah.
and made a bad choice.
And then
McCavity kind of fucked her
they
up.
said
rejected
perversions
her.
a couple times.
Yeah, I think she basically became like his
something.
I don't know what it was, but like
it wasn't good.
She went down a dark path with McCavity and ended up kind of in no man's land, right? Because McCavity rejected her. The Jellicle cats don't want her back. So now like she spends the whole movie basically hanging out in the shadows, kind of feeling sorry for herself and like desperately wanting to be reaccepted, but like the other cats like they all hiss at her when they see her, like she's not wanted. And so but she's this kind of pitiful character. Like you feel kind of bad for her, right? Mm-hmm. And then basically at the end, she's the one who sings the show-stopping number. And I mean, are we doing spoilers? I don't know. Should we do spoilers?
Is there spoilers for this? Like, there's no real story.
So
you know what I mean?
So she does the show-stopping number.
We're going to spoilers.
Spoilers. Grisabella becomes the Jellicle choice and gets to ascend to the Heaviside layer. Which, you know, as far as like as far as storytelling goes, it's the right choice, right? I'm thinking for a while maybe it's Victoria because she's the main character, but it's actually the one that is kind of the most pitiful and sympathetic and the most downtrodden. Like she's a cat that nobody wants. Like the way that, you know, and this is true in the stage show and true in the movie. Like she's all bedraggled. I kind of like that she's wearing like the fur coat and the jewel. Like there's
but it's all ruined.
There's evidence of like she used to have this glamorous life, but now she's in rags. Right, she's really sad, and in the end, through Victoria's grace, she sings her beautiful song and gets to ascend, and you know has a happy ending base, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? Have I missed anything?
No. I think that McCavity comes on and tries. He doesn't actually sing though, right? He has Taylor Swift sing for him.
Taylor Swift sing. It's weird because usually what happens is in the structure. Each character has a song. They sing their own introduction song. McCavity shows up, he does do a bit. He does a dance number later in the movie, but Taylor Swift basically shows up halfway through the movie and introduces him, even though we already know who he is. Right. She does a whole song about how he's the bad, the meanest cat. But like, he's already like fucked up a bunch of cats. I know that.
Yeah. That's clear to everyone.
But Taylor Swift shows up and then he kind of goes drugs them all with catnip.
Which again, it was weird, and let's not look into it.
And at one point, so there are some plot twists. Don't forget, he demands that old Deuteronomy choose him because he's spirited away all the others. So by default, he must be the choice. But old Deuteronomy says, "Fuck you! I wouldn't pick you if you were the last cat on earth. You can go fuck yourself."
Not meow, not ever.
Right? And so he then spirits her away. He's like, if I can't win, I'm going to fuck everyone up. And then Mr. Misopheles comes along, who's like the conjurer magician cat, who for a while I was convinced in the movie was played by Daniel Radcliffe, but it's just a guy that looks a bit like Daniel Radcliffe. He's like a weird, he's like a stage magician cat with like a top hat and a wand and stuff. Right. Pulls rabbits out.
He's constantly trying to do magic,
but he can't really do magic.
Right.
And then they all look to him to say, can you use your magic to bring her back?
And he's like, no.
And he can't do it because he doesn't have real magic. Except does he? Because she does actually come back.
But like behind him, not where he was trying to get it.
I don't know how she came back.
Confusing.
You can't be thinking about the logic of the plot because there is no logic. Yeah. There is no plot. It just is what it is. And you're gonna drive yourself crazy trying to pick holes in this.
And that's so upsetting. It's so frustrating.
Because it doesn't care.
Yeah,
about plot. All. It doesn't care about logic.
And I think
so you can't engage it on those terms. Like you're fucking checkmated. From the beginning on this movie, like this movie defies you to criticize it because it doesn't play by the rules.
No, but see, that's not true because the songs aren't great.
No, but I mean the story I would say defies you to criticize it. The story and the logic and the world building cannot be criticized because there isn't any.
Well, okay, but that in its own is criticism. Like, hey, there's not a lot of story here in a movie, and like but you have to.
If you go in expecting a traditional, as I suspect many people will over this holiday season, many people are like that.
It's budget.
Like that looks interesting or whatever, or like everyone's talking about Cats, or like I don't want to see Star Wars, or Star Wars is sold out. They're going to end up at Cats. They won't, unfortunately, have seen Screen Cats. They won't know what to expect. And they're going to go in there and they're going to be fucking...
shocked.
Just stunned.
Yeah.
Because it's not... I'm telling you, it's not a film. It's not a movie.
Very upset. I think that right now the Rotten Tomato Fresh score is like 17%.
It doesn't matter, though. The reviews are irrelevant.
I 100% agree with that.
And they will make no difference. If you are the kind of person that wants to go see Cats, you're fucking going, no matter what the scores say. And if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to go see Cats, then obviously the reviews aren't going to make you go. You're not going to go. You're just not going to go anyway. But what you're seeing now is a lot of people saying, based on what I'm hearing, I've got to see this for myself. And I think that actually might be how it finds... It is a unique
experience.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can't recommend it in the sense that I feel like most of the people that will go see it will be disappointed.
Again, disappointment suggests expectations.
Yeah.
What is it? What is your expectation?
That it's going to be an enjoyable experience.
Okay, so to the crux of the matter, did I enjoy it?
I think we enjoyed it. I enjoyed it in a very, very weird way, but also like I get to watch a lot of movies, and I feel like my opinion on movies is starting to change.
Right.
And I don't think that the someone that goes to the movie theaters 5 times a year, is gonna get something out of this that is worth the movie theater experience. For me, this is hey man, I don't do drugs, but if you do and you're at home and this is on Netflix, you're gonna have a great time.
If you're in a state where pot is legal and you can get a fucking shit faced and go see this movie. Like my friend Dana, who was sitting next to me, she's a film critic. Yeah. She had a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And she drank a whole fucking bottle of wine during that movie, and she had a blast. I feel like that will definitely help, because the whole movie is like a fucking acid trip. Whether you're on drugs or liquor or not.
Right.
Like this is what I admire about it. It just ferociously is what it is. It's just like, this is what it is.
Very true.
If you don't like it, fuck you.
Yeah.
This is.
And I feel like right away.
It's like a cat. It's literally like a cat. It's like the cats don't.
That's really funny.
Cats don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And Cats the movie does not give a fuck. It's like, I'm going to do what I want. If you don't like it, you can fuck off. That's what that in a way is the genius of Cats. It has a cat-like personality in that it shows up, it does a bunch of shit that makes no sense, and doesn't give a fuck what you think. Right?
100%. 100%. It's a very, very accurate.
Yeah, I think we finally got to the heart of the matter.
Yeah. And the heart is that it's just a cat.
So a lot of people have been saying to me, should I because they're baffled that I'm having this reaction to it. Like, I'm saying this thing is amazing or whatever. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I've just said it's amazing. It's mind-boggling. People have said to me, is it bad? Is it good? Should I go? And I don't know how to answer that question because
I just think if the music was a little better, then I would tell people go.
I so wish the music, just 2 or 3 numbers that really kind of got you going. Like I would honestly unreservedly recommend it. But there's only one truly great song in it. And that for me is the biggest letdown. If I liked the music better, if it had Hamilton quality or music, I don't care about. I wouldn't care about anything about how mad the cats were.
It wouldn't matter that the story seems so empty.
But even setting that aside, and it is a big thing to set aside for a musical, the music. Even setting that aside, it does at least end on a high note, because the not the final song, but the second from final song is fantastic. And the number one thing that I've said to people, I've said this a dozen times over the last 48 hours. And I know you don't agree, but I don't think you'll regret having seen it, because it's one of those things you have to see to believe. You won't believe that somebody actually made it until you see it for yourself.
I feel like had I paid for the ticket, because this is something we got a screener,
we got a screener
access to. Had I paid for the ticket, I think I would have come out a little upset.
Do you think, let me ask you this, because I think a lot of people are going to end up watching it on Netflix or HBO or whatever. Do you think it'll have the same impact on the small screen?
I think so. I really do. Because one of the things that we haven't really discussed is there was a good amount of people just laughing at
Some
the
people
movie.
were laughing at the movie.
And it just
and those people annoyed me.
It was shut up.
Yeah, I don't like that.
What old Deuteronomy comes out and they were just laughing hysterically. There were I don't get it.
It was only a couple of people, but that's all it takes. That's why I don't like going to the movies. It only takes a couple of people to spoil your experience.
I love going to the movies.
People there's always someone at the back cackling or whatever, or laughing at it, and it spoils my experience. That kind of soured my experience.
That's what I'm saying. I do think that you might have a better experience at home,
right?
Just because it will be you, and you won't have to deal with anyone else reacting to this very weird experience. And I personally think that would be a better way to watch it.
I don't know. Again, I understand why, not $10 for a movie ticket is different for everybody. And again, I would say you're right. I'd say if you get a chance to see it at a screener or whatever, I would definitely go. If spending $20-$30 on a couple of movie tickets is not a big deal to you, I would say definitely go. You've got to see it to believe it.
It's certainly an experience.
It's absolutely just batshit bananas. And you'll be talking about it for days the way that we have been, because it's just so crazy. But if you've only got the budget to go see like one movie this month or whatever, maybe go see something you're more likely to enjoy.
Yeah.
Like a more conventional film. But if you have similar tastes to me, like you like stuff that is just so fucking weird.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing else like it at this level. And the reason I'm saying is I do think it actually plays better on the big screen because it is beautifully shot. The lighting is beautiful. The staging is beautiful, and I think that it does benefit from being on a bigger screen.
But Gary, if you get the Hue Play lights,
I don't need any of that shit.
I
don't need any of that.
The lighting
shit.
in my house is fantastic.
I'm sure it is.
It is phenomenal. I'll show you some videos later.
I actually find that distracting. The light around the screen.
You could find it distracting. I personally feel like it's subtle enough where it's not like the main focus at all, and you're watching the middle of the box.
Right.
So it's just adding flares. Yeah.
I guess.
But enough about that.
Is there anything we haven't touched upon on the agenda?
No, we hit everything. I think the last thing is, do we recommend it or not? It seems like kind of on the fence.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's different for everyone. If it's not a big deal for you to go and you're curious, if you're on the fence, I would say go. Because it is an experience. For better or worse, it's an experience unlike anything else you're going to have.
It's certainly a very unique experience that I don't think we'll see again for a long time,
if ever.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to make money?
It has a low budget, so the bar isn't set super high. That being said, it probably has to make like $200 million.
Look at something like Greatest Showman that came out of the gate slow and ended up making like a fucking $1 billion or something because it's stuck around.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Cats fans out there. They've been packing the theaters out for 40 years.
I feel like, will it be able to make $200 million worldwide? I think so. So it should be able to make.
I think it'll at least make its money back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe a little bit.
But I don't think it's going to be like a massive.
I'm very.
It might be. I feel like it could go either way.
But it's coming out on a terrible week. Like, don't come out this week.
No, because I'm telling you, the Venn diagram doesn't cross over. People that no one's going. No one out there, I guarantee you, no one is going. Should I go see Star Wars or Cats?
Right.
They're all in one box or the other.
But all the people that would be just being like, I guess I'll go see Cats, are going, I got to go watch Star Wars.
I don't think so. There are a lot.
I feel like everyone.
You have to remember, there's a lot of people out there that don't give a shit about Star Wars, and a lot of them are the kind of people that give a shit about things like Cats.
I have a feeling that numbers are going to be shockingly low next week for Cats.
I'd be interested to see.
Well,
look, they're not, the people at Universal aren't stupid.
Right.
It's not they didn't know Star Wars. They know what it's counter programming.
Yeah.
There's going to be over the holiday season.
I get what you're saying.
Like you're at your mother-in-law's fucking house or something. She doesn't want to go see Star Wars.
But
she doesn't.
But you're gonna want to, and if there's a kid around, he's gonna want to, and if there's your father-in-law, he might want to. You know what I mean? Like, once it's enough people, you're gonna go watch Star Wars.
Maybe. And look, obviously Star Wars is going to be the biggest movie at the box office this weekend.
Yeah.
But I think that Cats is the kind of movie that, again, I think it's intelligent counter programming. It's an option for people who want to go to the theater over the cinema over the holidays, who don't want to see Star Wars or maybe already have seen it, and they want something different. And this, it certainly fucking checks that box.
That certainly makes a lot of sense. But I still think that the numbers are going to be very soft come Monday.
But I also think that, like The Greatest Showman, it could stick around.
That's possible. But that depends on how long the numbers stay solid.
Do you think this? Right? Do you think this curiosity factor is enough to move the needle? Like these people saying, "I gotta see it."
I don't. I think that is gonna certainly help it, but I don't know that it. Like, I'm a little hesitant to say that it will make the $180 million that it has to recoup everything.
Right.
You know, and it's just like I don't think we're gonna see something like this for a while, and like maybe that is a reason to go and watch it because it is so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, very quickly, I want to tell you what is out on streaming platforms.
Okay.
Yeah? So this week on Netflix, we have The Two Popes. That's a Netflix film that I really, really want to see about the transition between Benedict and Francisco. And The Witcher is coming out. Joey's coming in.
When does The Witcher's come on?
I believe it's Friday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sooner than I thought.
Not 24th.
Wait, what was the other thing you said is coming out?
The Two Popes.
Two Popes.
Also,
Cool, Greg. Is there a mic up?
Hello.
I got it real quick.
Hold on. Were you following our Cats discussion, Joey?
I mean, I tuned in every once. I don't like Andrew Lloyd Webber. Is my thing.
Really?
I don't, because I don't really like Phantom either.
Bar and it did not go well. Just kidding.
No, I just don't like. I don't. The only like Andrew Lloyd Webber musical I like is Jesus Christ Superstar, and even that is
That's a good one.
Yeah, but the rest of them don't really do it for me. There's another documentary that came out on Netflix this week called "Don't Fuck with Cats." Have you guys heard about this?
Yeah.
It's like this. It's supposed to be like one of the best true crime documentary series. I think it's only like 3 episodes or something like that.
I heard people talking about it. I have no idea what it's about.
I feel like the less you know about it going into it, the better.
Cool.
But if you like true crime things, then I would recommend watching it. I started watching it last night, and then I fell asleep, but I want to catch up.
Yeah, so we also have The Witcher coming out, and I believe that's, let me see the day, the 20th, so tomorrow.
Okay.
On Amazon Prime, we've got The Aeronauts. It's a trailer we played here, talked about here.
Yeah, Felicity Jones, right?
Huh?
Felicity Jones
Yes.
is in The Aeronauts.
I think so.
Yeah, and what's his name? The other guy that was the Stephen Hawking guy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Newt Scamander.
Him.
Right?
What?
Newt Scamander?
Yeah.
Who?
Newt Scamander, fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
Beasts and
Newt,
Where
yeah.
to Find-
I keep forgetting his name.
And then on Hulu, there's The Kid, which is another trailer that we played on here that I thought was really interesting.
Does it sound creepy? It sounds creepy.
No, it's like a Western.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like a horror thing.
And then out in movie theaters near you, we've got Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Which you can hear us talk about tomorrow
Yep.
here at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
You can also go and watch Cats.
You can.
Movie that
Opens tomorrow.
Gary loves.
You can go see like a.
And then I like more and more as I think about it.
I'm telling you,
and I
want to
stop thinking about it. I'm
What's
be honest.
funny, we kind of played ourselves a little bit here because we started this as a lark.
Yeah.
But
now we love cats.
But don't you feel like through this conversation we've come to like appreciate it a bit more?
Yeah, and I don't like that. And then one last movie coming out, Bombshell, this week.
Oh yeah, the Fox News movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it looks interesting.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that.
Also coming out next week, Little Women. You should go see that.
Oh,
I've got a screener for that.
Week.
But we don't have a thing for that.
So yeah, we actually watched Little Women. Normally we do a part of the show where we talk about things that we've watched this week. We didn't have time for that, but I do want to talk about Little Women for 1 minute. What a great movie. It's phenomenal acting just so throughout the whole movie. The story is incredibly compelling. I went in not knowing if I was going to enjoy it or not.
Kevin wasn't super stoked on it.
Not at all.
Going
but
into
I
it.
came out and was like, holy shit, what a film.
I just got a screener for it literally yesterday. I think I'm going to check it out over the holidays.
It's really good. Directed by Greta Gerwig, who I love and adore. She did Lady Bird. Mm-hmm. Then you've got Saoirse Ronan, also from Lady Bird and Brooklyn, who's incredible. Timothy Chalamet, who's been in like fucking everything.
Great cast.
Laura Dern, Meryl Streep, Emma Watson. Like,
is it a period adaptation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
it's not like a modern retelling or something.
No. Okay. And I don't normally love like period pieces.
You've said many times you hate them.
Specifically, like English ones aren't my thing, but this is not. But it's really good.
I'll check it out. I've never seen a movie version of Little Women, so I should check it out.
Yeah. I like that they do them like every 20 years or so.
Yeah, it's one of those books that they'll always adapt at some point or another.
But everybody in it is so good, even though Kevin hates Laura Dern.
What's your favorite movie that you saw this year?
That's a discussion for next year.
Oh. Are you saving that for like? Do you have like a whole movie of the year discussion?
Our first episode. Oh,
okay. I was just asking you like personally, like what you liked. It doesn't have to be like an official list.
There was a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
but my number one, it's honestly it's going to be a really tricky year. There were some phenomenal movies that we watched, but right now I think it's Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh yeah, you really liked that, didn't you?
Yeah, I really liked it, and it's one of those things that like. I think I've bought it now that it's out on streaming services, and I kind of want to own if they have a Blu-ray at some point. Actually, last week I asked the best friends what their favorite piece of content was, and they wrote in.
What, their favorite piece of kind of funny content?
No, just overall media.
Streaming,
so like movie, TV show, streaming, Mitch Craston says The Farewell for a movie and BoJack Horseman for a TV show were my favorites of the year. Let me see who's got another interesting one because there was quite a bit. This one I actually really like. Surf31 says my favorite piece of content this year was Love, Death, and Robots. It came out of nowhere and
the Netflix series, right? Yeah, I heard that was good.
Yeah. It was really cool, and like that's one that I think I could have easily forgotten about, But like I think about a couple of those little episodes every once in a while, and it's like, man, they're so good. Let's see. Let's do at least one more. Dalton F says, favorite movies, Marriage Story. As a married person and a child of divorce, I have never seen a movie nail those feelings and dynamics better than this one. It was so authentic and real. And as for TV shows, he says Watchmen. And I dig that a lot.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I need to finish Marriage Story.
You really do. It's
really heavy
a lot.
to watch
It's
all at
extremely
once.
heavy to watch. One more. Crawford Morgan says, favorite piece of media this year, YouTube Red's Impulse. It was a typo. Great. Impulse. Only because I went into expecting a bland sci-fi show, and on the levels of Jumper, similar story, and it delivered so much more. I've been recommending it to everyone. Have you seen it all?
No, I heard it's good though.
Sounds like
I'm so behind on stuff. I've still got to
really
catch
are.
up.
It's so
I've only seen
disappointing.
one episode of Watchmen. I think we're finally going to binge that over the holidays.
You really should.
I've got a big
man.
pile of screeners of the Prestige movies that I've got to watch over the holidays as well.
So
I'll tell you mine though. I'll tell you what my favorite thing that I saw this year was. It's on Netflix. Dolomite Is My Name.
That's also
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Did you
I
see
really
it?
enjoyed it.
No.
It was terrific.
I have
you
a
didn't
You got to
post-it
watch it.
on my desk of everything.
It's like
I
the
need to
most
finish.
fun I've had watching. It's like such a good feel-good movie. I loved it.
So interesting to see Eddie Murphy back in that role.
Doesn't it make you wish that he'd like just kept making movies all this time? It's like, God,
Yeah,
where have you been?
yeah.
You're still so great.
Hey, but he's coming back.
That's
we've
right.
got
And you know-
2 movies around the corner.
And you know who like really surprised me in that movie? Wesley Snipes. Amazing. Just terrific.
Not enough of them.
Like hilarious. Who
Yeah.
knew he was that funny? He's
Yeah.
hilarious. Really good.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this week. I've been your host, Kevin Coelho. You can find me on social media at Kind of Funny Kevin. You can follow Gary Whitta at Gary Whitta.
At Gary Whitta. And also I'll be streaming on Twitch tonight, twitch.tv/Gary Whitta, around 7 o'clock Pacific. Join me there.
You can also follow Joey at Joey Noel.
I'll be tweeting out copious thoughts on the 12 Boys I Love Before trailer since you fucked me and wouldn't let me talk
I'm
about it on
so
my show.
sorry, Joey. I'm so sorry. I have no interest in that movie, no. All right, go out to the movies and watch Rise of Skywalker or Cats. You've got
Or both.
options.
Both.
Or both. That's right.
Go see a double bill.
All right, bye.